simple, so I'll just recap really quick. I'm going to work the combinations a little bit different today. The only thing that happened in the other day was I either touched their elbows, I touched their obliques, I got some form of their hamstrings. Like, all I did was touch them. And I'm hoping that I can pull them back, have their hands touch the mat. They can touch below or above. Right now we're dealing with above, okay? So when you get pulled, put your hands above, because if they land below, we deal with them a different way. But this is all that we've done, okay? So I've pulled him down. He's touched the mat. My first reaction, obviously, is I don't leave spacing between the two of us. I don't want him flow passing. So upon landing, my first reaction is to see if I can pair my hands. If I can, great. If I can't, it's okay. I still hold on to him to try to kill this chest-to-chest spacing on me, okay? My first reaction is I take one leg out. I keep the other one high. So my first reaction when I floated him was 3. I take one leg out. This hand should drop right down the center. So upon landing, this is what you're seeing, because I'm anticipating him trying to come back. I also want to be able to pull this hand out so I can pair these guys up. We're going to hit a simple triangle on this one, okay? So then when we first paired him up, I blocked him. I'm pushing him away. I'm starting to slide myself out to see if I can take this arm, potentially go omoplata, potentially transition it to a Kimura, right? The other day we did Kimura, we did omoplata. Today we're going to start with triangles. So my first reaction is to block him. Then I switch my hands up so that I block him coming out. I see if I can take my leg out. My leg obviously is going to try to kick his kneecap out, potentially. I may push his shoulder out like we did the other day to transfer it to an omoplata. But on this one, we're going to say we had the spacing to hit the triangle. So I'm here touching him. Maybe as I'm touching him, he's floating the leg back. Perfect. It's a great time to retract my leg high and throw my triangle up. My main goal when I throw my triangle up initially is to see if I can get the calf behind the neckline. Because if I can get the calf behind the neckline and the crease of the bend of the knee, I know my hamstring's sitting perfectly on the inner portion of this artery. That's a major control point, because there's 40% of the blood is running through there. I basically need 60%. So when I first took this leg out, I just didn't lay it up here. I had a conscious effort to try to wrap it and catch it. And now this artery and ligament is sitting on this artery. My second reaction is I want to be able to use my hands efficiently. So my first reaction upon this point, this is where I was blocking, is to reach and grab his head. I want to pull him down. I don't care about anything else. I'm not worrying about this arm. I'm not worrying about transferring. I'm not worrying about anything else right now except him posturing up and getting some distance and height on me. And that's their number one escape. So when I first was paired like this, I took this leg out, I threw it over. My first reaction is to grab his head. If he's going up quickly, I'm going to grab with both. If not, outside hand is the first gripping hand, because inside hand is reaching for my shin. I can now use this leg to start to turn perpendicular if I need to, or pull it in. I would like you to, at this point, when you figure for this leg, to keep this foot on the outside of the body. Don't keep it on the inside where there's a physical heel above him. I want to be able to turn it out as far as possible and retract it down. Once I do both of those, I squeeze my knees together, eighth and tap. I haven't used my hands yet. Okay, so my first reaction is, let's go back a second. Everything exactly the same, okay? I'm going to try to kick his foot out to see if I could take the arm from him. He floats the foot out. I retract high and I throw my triangle up, okay? So all I did was touch him. I pulled in. I went supine. First reaction is I try to kill this spacing. He's going to try to flow past me, so I float him out. I block the position. I block his head. I'm trying to come out to see if I could take this arm. I want to kick out his lower half. As I kick out his lower half, he floats the leg. I take my leg out and I throw it up on top. What's my reaction right now? I've landed my leg perfectly. Outside hand reaches for skull. Secondary hand reaches for shin. So now I have my triangle set. So I'm holding the vertical posture for him coming up. I'm holding my shin line so that I have my triangle set. I'm keeping my hips high so there's no spacing between us. So now the only thing I'm going to do is just figure for my leg. I'm going to keep my foot on the outside of the body line. Do not keep it here and start pulling down. There's no efficiency here. My first reaction is I put my foot on the outside of the line as far out that way as possible. I retract it down as far as that deep as possible. Now I squeeze my kneecaps together. Obviously, you okay, Kevin? Yeah, don't fall asleep on it. Right, so let's partner up. 1, 2, 3. All I'm going to do is the reversal, right? So one time you're going to do, if you've never seen it before, I've gotten this guy to touch. I've grabbed onto him. I've floated him out. I'm like this. So a second ago, I'm either trying to block him to take my leg out and kick this base out so I can turn this over the top or hit a omoplata in front of his face. Like, I don't know how this is going to play out, but I'm sitting there like this. I just floated this, and I'm pushing. And Ethan's doing everything he can because my first intention wasn't the triangle. He backed out, or I kicked his leg out, but he's driving back into me so hard that I'm sitting here like this trying to take this leg out, and he's driving. My hands are already here. Keep driving forward. So as he's driving up, I'm just pairing my hands together, lifting my elbow to the sky, elevating my hook, and there's just one last thing for the people that usually don't come in the morning or visitors. Try not your best not to keep this gap. I know you're thinking this, like you want to get here and drive forward, right? I want to reverse him and dump him over and come up on top, and I want to do all these things. I totally get it, right? But don't think that you're going to lift and make separation here, because it's just the natural thought process is, I'm trying to bring him up, so I bring this up even higher. I don't want to do that, because now that gives him a chance to use this hand as a basing tool, because I've given him height and now he can flip his hips on the bottom. So keep your connection super tight, chest to chest. So when I was sitting here like this and I was trying to push this out, Nathan's coming forward on me. You'll never see this separation of chest to chest. I'm driving my elbow and forearm up into his throat. I got my elevator coming up, and now I'm mounted hook. And now I'm on a full mount and attacking this top arm on him. Okay, so you owe me 2. One is the float. Second one, he drives in, flip it. You have to be good at both of those reversals, right? Some people don't have the turn radiuses on their legs to throw omoplatas on one side. Some people don't like to. Some people don't like to throw triangles up. Those two you have to be able to reverse left and right. You just end up there too many times not to know both. You don't have to learn how to arm drag both sides, but that one you have to learn both sides. So if you could do 3, try to do 3. Okay, let's partner them, please. 1 down, 2. One of the hardest things is to learn, and like hand fighting. When you go into a hand fight, in the beginning you go hand fight with somebody, and they grab your hands, and they're trying to hold on to your hands as tight as they can, and they're just squeezing them and squeezing them, and those are easy grips to break. And the guy that's hard to break is the guy that grabs onto your hand like about 50, 60%. They're almost just holding your hand lightly. And everywhere you pull your hand, they just follow your hand. So they're not even at any point using string. They're just latched on. They're like a magnet. You move your hand, and they just follow your hand. And that's the hardest guy to relieve. The guy that has all that strength and goes, rah, and holds your hands, you go, oh, this isn't really anything. This is like, you're just going to get all taken apart, because you end up learning how to use their strength against them. They might be so solid, and now I use them as an arm drag or a tool to lift them. It's the guy that's so loosey-goosey that he grabs you. Now, reason I bring that up is these legs, right? So Nikki had a great question about somebody building height on them, but they build height because you lose that connection of following the hips. Go back in there again. Right, so do the same thing. Float, perfect. Stay right there. Stay right there. This was already off. This was the most critical thing in the chain right now. Upon floating, that leg was sitting, right now it's sitting like this. Upon floating, it should have been facing this way, and it should have been right at that hip. And now when Jenny builds height, you should be able to follow that. It's already losing disconnection. It's starting to come up. Give it to me like you're supposed to give it to me. Better, much better. Tightness is facing this way. That foot's on the hip. Now I can transfer, take that hip and kick that hip out. Throw the leg over their face. Perfect, right? But now you're not paying attention to what the most critical thing is, because I'm just trying to be this sniper, basically, of like, do I do a triangle? Like, do I want to hit an omoplata? Do I want to tell them what I'm going to do and like let them try to figure out how to stop it? Like, it becomes a lot of fun. because I'm not doing anything strength-wise. I'm just technically following. Remember the thing what I said about the grips? Those feet should be following you. They should be right here. He floated, boom. Float it now and put it right. Oh, now it's right. Perfect. I should not have a gap. Don't let her get height and start floating. Jen, keep moving and keep kicking out her legs. There you go. That's how it should be. It shouldn't be that you have no control and then you're telling me they're building height on you. It's because you didn't take these things out that make her athletic to beat you, right? So have some conscious contact. I love Steve's. I got to give Steve that credit, man. It's beautiful, that line. Conscious contact, man. So this leg, that leg's not facing, that kneecap's facing that way. My isolation is this. In the value system, right, it's basically, right now, because I floated them this, I really want to touch their hips. I want to be able to flip their hips out. If I can't, maybe I hit their kneecaps, because their kneecaps are usually further out. But when I hit the kneecap, he'll float the leg on me on a high-level guy. It's the same principle. Like the moment you touch them, they don't resist. It's the guy that wants to be so strong and fight you. He keeps that leg so tight. And now when you kick him out, he goes face planting. But the other guy, you kick his leg out, he just lets it go and comes right back. So your reaction on a high-level guy, George, you pay attention. When you kick that thing out, okay, his reaction is he wants to step over the kneecap. So when you kick this leg out and touch this, he's going to float it hard because he wants to step over your kneecap. And that's your reaction. The moment you touch it and you feel that float, you're not going to touch this, because if you keep that leg in there, he's going to pin it. He's going to step over that kneecap. Your first reaction should have been to jam the knee high. So now that's when your triggers are for your either your triangle, or if you jammed high, he should have come high, because he realizes this leg's about to come out and hit me with a triangle, so I'm running up high on him. That's when you hit the reversal, right? He's feeding you the moves. You're just like going, okay, I threw you out that way. That's all I had. How did this all start? You know how this all started, Jenny Colby? This is how it all started. Jenny, yeah, that's how it all started. Right off the bat, that was the first read. You might put it in. That's right there. It's gone. You know why? Because, you should go down a second. Because when she went and touched me, they were like this. Her first reaction, if she wanted to touch me, was to go, I shouldn't be lifting them up. I have thumb grips on the inside. It's impossible. They lift me up now, and I go, okay, I'm going to, but now they touch me like that. You should have been supining them right away. They had no blockers. They should be coming up underneath them right away. So that's your trigger to start the whole. Now, the moment I went like this, you're up in the air already. You shouldn't have been there. You should have been sitting at the creases with your thumbs in, right? This is how we're playing. We're looking for inside position here, and I'm fighting like this. I'm not going to give them that grip. Now nobody's going to be able to do it, right? Yeah, that's so true, man. Yeah, I tell you years ago, I'm not going to say who, but this one guy used to dominate me years ago. Believe it or not, I used to roll a long time ago. And then that one thumb grip changed it all. And that this person who is really well known and bigger and stronger used to love to do these things. And then all of a sudden put this thumb in. And I went, guy has no game anymore. And it was just, so follow the hands, because I'm trying to make wedges. So have some picture of like how it's going to play out. 2-minute break and we get rocking, okay? Grab water, coffee. Let's do it, guys.